We're going to talk about blind landings using a backside 180. It's a super fun trick to learn that's usually your first wrap landing. And it's one of the fundamentals of wakeboarding, kind of like learning your first ollie or first frontside 180 spin. It's used in a lot of the ways that you'll come off of kickers, just even off of ollie tricks, air tricks, and rails as well.
Oh, I want to do that 3-out landing blind. All right.
A lot of times once you get comfortable landing in a blind position, you'll find that you actually feel more stable coming off of a rail or certain tricks landing in that position. Some good prerequisites to have ahead of time for this are going to be frontside 180s. Usually you should be able to take all of your turns and corners riding switch and just have a good overall fundamental core of switch riding abilities. I'd recommend learning this trick off of either a small rail coming off into a backside 180, off of a small kicker, or even on the water just buttering around and getting used to that backwards pull in the switch position. So for this example, we're going to go off of a small kicker, and as we leave the kicker and get our tail up in the air, we're going to start that upper motion with your shoulders, accelerating with your hips and your back foot, following with your torso. I like to think of it as kind of like a corkscrew motion, as if you were to be planing yourself into the water by spinning your board into it, kind of like a screw would go into a piece of wood if you were drilling it into a hole. When landing this trick, it's helpful to look backwards so that you keep your body squared up with your board and are able to ride away before you pass the handle to your front hand. Next step to keep in mind is handle placement. The key to landing this trick is going to be keeping that handle at your hip level. What you're going to want to do is follow the natural pull of the spin and let that handle be tucked up on your lower back right at your hip level at the same height off of the water as you'd be holding it if it was in your front hand. So when it comes to the timing of the trick, one of the things that you'll see a lot of people do when spinning backside and landing blind is doing a nice, slow, comfortable rotation into the blind position. It doesn't work out a lot of the times, and when you do land like that, it puts a lot more stress on your shoulders, your back, and it's just not a fun way to ride. What's going to be really helpful is waiting until you're on the descent and then snapping that board into the water as you're landing into it. If you spin too early, you risk over-rotating or being too toe-heavy. And a lot of other weird complications. You want to try to snap that board into the water as you're landing. In conclusion, when doing the backside 180, gain your bearings up in the air, spot your landing. On your descent, snap back into that blind position, keeping the handle at your hips, looking behind you. Ride away and smile.